At Thanksgiving, my mother tapped her glass, smiling the way she always did when she wanted the whole room to swivel toward Lily. "Sister's wedding was beautiful," she announced brightly. Then she turned to me. "So Olivia, when's yours?" A few people laughed. My father kept carving the turkey like the bird had a deadline. Lily didn't say a word, just watched me. Too still. Too careful. I set my fork down. "I already had mine," I said. "6 months ago. You got invitations." The room went quiet. So quiet it felt like the air had turned solid. My father whispered. "We never got them." Of course he said that. So I reached into my bag. And that's when everything they'd been hiding finally started to surface. Growing up, my family worshipped symmetry. Perfect holidays, perfect photos, perfect milestones. And in every one of those curated little stories, Lily was the sun. I wasn't bitter. I just assumed families worked that way. One child shines, the other makes space. By high school, it wasn't a pattern. It was an institution. My mother curated Lily's life like a showroom display. Dance classes, cheer tryouts, framed awards lining the hallway like a gallery. Meanwhile, whenever I had a moment worth celebrating, science fair ribbons, college acceptances, my mother would smile politely and say, "Let's take your picture later, honey. I need good lighting for Lily's new headshots." So I adapted. I learned to survive quietly. I became good at being invisible. Seattle changed everything. Moving 3 hours away wasn't an act of rebellion. It was oxygen. I built a life of my own, tiny apartment with tall windows, piles of research notes, shirts that always smelled faintly of the coffee Ethan made every morning. My job analyzing water and environmental data didn't impress the people my mother wanted to impress, but it mattered. It made sense. And Ethan, he saw me in ways my family had never bothered to try. His family saw me too. They asked about my work. They remembered what I said. They hugged like they meant it. So when Ethan proposed on a foggy June morning near the water, I said yes without a flicker of doubt. We didn't want a spectacle, just a small coastal chapel with people who loved us. The only thing I secretly, stubbornly hoped for was that my parents and Lily would come. Just once. Choose me. I designed the invitations myself, mailed them with signature required, because I knew how easily things for me got lost in that house. All 4 invitations tracked as delivered. Then came the silenced no calls, no texts. Not even a congrats. In the family group chat, weeks passed. The wedding passed. Still nothing. I told myself 1,000 excuses to protect myself from the truth. Maybe the mail got mixed up. Maybe they were planning something special, maybe, but a colder thought kept creeping in. Someone didn't want those invitations seen. And deep down I already knew who. Ethan helped me check the email access logs. One invitation notice had been opened from my parents' house. Then deleted permanently. Not a glitch. Not an accident. Someone erased my wedding. And when I pulled up the postal receipts, there it was, the signature. Lily's looping handwriting. She hadn't forgotten my invitations, she intercepted them. All 4. Why? Because her own massive September wedding was coming. 350 guests, designer gowns, spotlight guaranteed. And even my quiet little ceremony risked drawing attention away from her. Lily never shared attention. Thanksgiving came. I almost didn't go. Almost let them continue pretending I didn't exist. But pretending was the thing that built this entire mess. So I showed up, with the truth. The house looked perfect from the outside. White tablecloth, polished silver. A candle flickering like it belonged in a magazine. Inside, the same old tension wrapped around me like a coat I didn't want to wear. Lily posed for photos by the fireplace. My mother narrated Lily's wedding to anyone who'd listened. My father poured wine like he was trying not to think. No one asked how I'd been. No one mentioned a wedding they very much knew they'd ignored. I sat across from Lily. She didn't look at me. She didn't need to. Silence can be a performance. Dinner followed the usual script. Praise for Lily, praise for her dress, praise for her venue, praise for the guest list. She curated like a resume. Then my mother tapped her glass again. "Sister's wedding was beautiful," she said proudly. "So Olivia, when's yours?" I didn't let the question sink under my skin this time. I set my fork down gently. "I already had mine," I said. 6 months ago." The air vanished. Everyone stared. "You got invitations." My mother's smile collapsed. My father blinked. "And Lily didn't move at all. That told me everything." "Olivia," my father said carefully. "We never got any invitations." I nodded once. "I figured you'd say that." I placed my phone on the table, screen glowing. This was the line I had never crossed. Finally showing them what they refused to see. I opened the receipts. .4 deliveries. .4 signatures. I zoomed in on the first one. Lily. My mother gasped. My father leaned forward. Lily's husband stiffened. Lily stayed perfectly still. These were delivered April 23rd, I said. All signed for by Lily. Dead silence. My father shook his head. There has to be a mistake. It's not, I said, swiping. Here's the postal tracking, priority mail. Signature required. All delivered. All intercepted. My mother whispered. Lily would never. Stop, I said softly. Not cruel, just done. You keep saying what Lily wouldn't do, but you never look at what she actually does. Ryan turned to his wife. Lily, did you sign for these? I don't remember, she stammered. Maybe. Sometimes I grab the mail. I didn't see any invitations. My silence said everything. My father. You didn't see 4 separate packages from your sister? It's not my job to track everyone's mail, she snapped. Wrong answer. I opened the email log. .1 invitation opened, deleted permanently from Lily's device. My mother covered her mouth. My father's jaw locked. Ryan stared at her like he was seeing a stranger. Why would Lily sabotage your wedding? My mother demanded. Because mine was in June, I said calmly, turning to Lily. And hers was in September. Lily's face cracked, not physically, but in that emotional way where the truth finally slips through. You twist everything to make me look bad, she shouted. No, I said. You did that yourself. Ryan stood. Is this true? Lily whispered. Everyone thinks Olivia is so innocent. She never needs anything. She never asks for anything. She just exists and makes everyone feel. What? I asked quietly. Feel guilty, she said. Feel small. Ah, there it was. The real confession. My father whispered. We didn't know. If you'd known, I said, you would have come? After missing so many milestones? After forgetting so many birthdays? He closed his eyes. You can't put all that on us, my mother said sharply. We did our best. No, I said. You did your best for Lily. For me, you did the bare minimum and called it fairness. Something in the room cracked. A truth too old to ignore. I looked at them, the people I had spent years begging in silence to see me. I didn't lose my family tonight, I said quietly. I just stopped pretending I had one. My mother gasped. My father stood. Lily cried. But their remorse wasn't my responsibility. I stood, picked up my coat. You didn't miss my wedding, I told them at the door. You chose not to see it. Then I left. Not slamming the door, just closing it, firmly finally. Ethan opened our door before I reached it, like he had been listening for my footsteps. He didn't ask a single question, he just held me until the shaking stopped. The next morning, his parents invited us for breakfast. No pity, no theatrics. Just warmth. Your family here, Helen said, squeezing my hand. Not because you married my son, because you matter. A week later, Lily sent a long therapy soft email. I read it. I didn't reply. My father called quietly, slowly, carefully. I let him try. He eventually found one of my invitations in a storage box and mailed it to me without a note. The closest he's ever come to an apology. My mother never reached out. For the first time, that absence didn't feel like a wound. It felt like clarity. I used to believe family was something you protected at any cost. Now I know better. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who shows up. Who listens, who stays. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from the people who never learned how to hold you. If any part of this feels familiar, tell me where you're watching from and share your story below. And don't forget to subscribe for the next.